Hola, buenas tardes, good afternoon. This is Girona, a medium-sized city in northern Spain, basically right up near the Pyrenees mountains on the border of Spain and France. So this probably doesn't really look like much. This could really be just about anywhere in the world, this kind of construction, or at least in a lot of different places. Now, the reason that I came to Girona is not to see this, of course, but the old city is supposed to be really nice. I got a little glimpse of it last night after I arrived. I took a bus. You can take a bus. It's about 20 minutes from my hotel into the city center here. And so last night I got there, but it was kind of getting dark. And so today I decided to walk it and tell this story as I am walking into the main city center, where I will record another separate video after this one. But while I'm walking there, decided to tell the story of yesterday. So this is story time here. Yesterday morning, I woke up in Ibiza, the Mediterranean island and major party spot. A quick addressing of the issue of how to pronounce Ibiza. As I mentioned in my Ibiza videos, there are various ways. Ibiza, 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 Ibiza. I'm going with Ibiza, which is basically the American pronunciation. I will reference the song by Mike Posner, I Took a Pill in Ibiza, and that is how he pronounces it, Ibiza. So I'm just going with that. So I had booked a flight from Ibiza Island direct to Barcelona just a few days earlier. I only spent a couple of days there on Ibiza, partly just because my main destination was Formentera Island, which is next to it. I hadn't been there before, so I've now been to all four of the Balearic Islands off the coast of eastern Spain there: Formentera, Ibiza, Mallorca, Menorca. And so while I was on Formentera, then I booked this flight on Vueling Airlines, very cheap, like $56 I think, and then 31, 32, something like that for the luggage, so about 85, 90 bucks for the flight. A very, very short flight. And then I get all packed up yesterday morning and head out to the airport. I hadn't booked accommodation yet, but was planning to do that at the airport. So that kind of gives you a little idea of how my travel planning goes, which is pretty last minute in general. And so I get to the airport and look at accommodation options here in Girona, and there isn't a whole lot, and it is expensive. Basically everything is $100 a night and up, except the place that I found there. Certainly partly because of the location outside of the city center, and also, as you saw, a very small little room there. And so it was really the only decent option other than paying $100 or so. So I went with that. But in the email that I got then, it said that their front desk was only open until 8 p.m. My flight was at 2:45, very short. It said an hour, but it was actually less than that. And so I would be landing, you know, around 4-ish, then get my luggage, and then I had basically 4-ish or 3.5 hours or so to get from there to Girona here before that 8 p.m. closing time. And so that was my little crunch pressure reality. Probably if I'd arrived afterwards, there would have been a number I could have called or whatever, but it was just, you know, preferable to get here by 8 and just know that I was going to have a place to sleep for the night. And so that seemed like plenty of time, because I'd found that there was a high-speed train from Barcelona to Girona here, a direct train that took only 45 minutes. But I was going to be at the airport, and so it was questionable what the best way was going to be for me to get from the airport all the way here. I wasn't certain about, you know, the possibility of a direct bus, or would I have to get into the city center and then catch a train or a bus there, or would, you know, trains be full, or I would have to change buses or whatever. You know, it was undetermined. As far as figuring all this out beforehand, sometimes it is just less time to get there and figure it out on the spot than it is to try to do all the research online on the computer, which can take, you know, a lot of time. And so sometimes it's better just to get there and find out the reality on the ground as far as what your options are and everything, rather than trying to figure something out that may or may not be correct anyways, because oftentimes online information turns out to be wrong. So the plan was just to get to the airport in Barcelona, get my luggage, go to the information desk, and then ask them. So I arrive in Barcelona right around 4 o'clock. I think by the time that I got my luggage, it was, let's see, yeah, it was like 4:20, because I go to the information booth, and the good news is that there is a bus leaving direct from the airport to Girona here that is leaving at 4:45. It is now like 4:20, 4:25, something like that. So absolutely perfect. Now, I didn't have much cash on me. I had 25 euros in bills and then a couple euros or something in coins. So I wanted to get some cash. So after getting the information about the bus, I asked her where's an ATM, and she points right there. And so I go to the ATM, try to withdraw money, and the ATM fee is going to be 7 euros. That is like $8 US. That is high. Especially in Europe, oftentimes there's no fee, or it's like 3.95 euros, something like that. And so I decided to cancel that and wait to get to another ATM somewhere with less of a fee. I figure I have 25 euros on me. I have, you know, credit card, debit card. Probably I can pay for bus, train, whatever with a card. So I decided to just head for the bus. Okay, we have a very interesting wall here. Seems to be capturing some history. Looks like a priest. 1807, 1870. Very interesting style. See? So I find where the bus is leaving, and then confirm, yep, it is leaving shortly. The bus is there, the bus driver is there, but they don't accept a card for payment. Luckily, the price of the ticket is 20 euros. That is like $22, and I have 25, as I said, and so I've got the bus ticket covered. So the driver also explains to me that it isn't a direct bus, It is going to be going into Barcelona and then making a couple of stops there first. So that kind of crunches the time a little bit as far as getting here by 8 o'clock, but it seems like it will still be okay. So we get into Barcelona, which I didn't stop at because I've been there before, made a bunch of videos there previously. And also I just kind of didn't really feel like dealing with the bigger city. So at least I got a little view of Barcelona, or Barcelona if you prefer, from the bus. Massive city. It took a long time to get through it. We made, I forget, 2 or 3 stops there. And then we leave the city and quickly run into really bad traffic. The bus is literally just stopped, not moving on the freeway for a while, and then, you know, moving very slowly. And so I'm now starting to stress out. Again, no huge deal, but it's a long day. I just want to get there and not have complications when I arrive of no receptionist. Now I have to call a number. Are they around? Do they answer? Etc. You know, I'm just starting to think of the real possibility of arriving there late, and then what am I going to have to deal with if that happens. But it's still possible to get there on time. So finally the traffic disappears and we get cruising. It's looking good. Then we make one more stop at the airport outside of Girona. And so that takes a little extra time. And so basically we arrive here at the bus station. Okay, we are now getting an idea of why this is a city worth visiting. The view from here, looking at the old town, I think that is probably the cathedral. The bus arrives at about 7:42, and my hotel is a 10-11 minute walk from the bus station. So I am just barely gonna make it. On the way, then I call with my phone. I have full, you know, phone service, and receptionist answers and he says, fine, you know, I'll be here, no worries. So I get to the hotel and the receptionist is there. He's from Belgium. He speaks good English. And he says actually they stay longer. They don't actually close at 8. That's like kind of the early possible closing time, but usually they stay later or something like that. So all my stress was kind of for nothing. But anyways, get checked in to my room there, and then decide to head out and get into the center of the city here and just get a quick look at things and also find some dinner. Now I am down to €5 and a little change. There is a bus that goes into the city center. I wait for that bus, and then they don't accept cash, they only accept card, the reverse of the other bus. But I have a card, and it is a tap card. As I talked about in a previous video in Australia, my cards weren't tap previously. I got those all replaced, and so now I have the tap capability. So anyways, like €1.40 I think for the bus there. And so I get into the center somewhere further over there. And I have ATM plugged into my phone, but my phone is about to die. It is at like, I don't know, 20%, 19%, something like that. And so there are these 4 ATMs all kind of near each other. Okay, that is the image of Girona that I'd scene that convinced me to come here. Pretty amazing city. So my phone is about to die. At 5%, then the screen basically goes black, like you can barely read it. So it is getting down there. And so there are these 4 ATMs all within like a block there. 2 are right next to each other. So I go to those ones first and nothing. There's just no ATM around there at all. So I abandon that and then go over to the other 2 that are also supposedly near each other, and they don't seem to exist either. And I spent some time wandering around trying to find all of these, and meanwhile the battery on my phone is dwindling. And then finally it gets to the 5% mark and the screen basically goes dark. And so I'm now on my own, no phone, trying to find an ATM when I've just checked all 4 in that area, and all of the other ones on my phone were further away. And so I'm like, oh man, I didn't expect finding an ATM to be such an absolute cluster, you know, F. And so I search around more in that same area, and then finally I find an ATM that was around the corner from where I'd been looking. Just one, not sure what happened to the other one, but there it is. But there are 2 people waiting. One is a lady with children, and another is this guy with like grocery bags. So the lady with children takes a little while, and then the next guy goes up to the ATM, and I'm just like certain like this guy is going to take a while. I can just feel it. And sure enough, man, it was like, I forget, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, something like that, which of course isn't, you know, the end of the world, but waiting at an ATM, it's like, man, is this ever going to end? All right, we got the church bells. So finally, he's done. And I get up to the ATM, put my card in. ATM fee, €7. Exactly the same as the other one that I had decided not to withdraw money from because of the high fee. I think it was the same bank, but at this point I was definitely not going to bother with trying to find another one for the sake of saving a couple euros, maybe. And so after that, then I found a restaurant right nearby at the square there, and had a nice meal, and that is the end of the story. So nothing super dramatic, just an example of the hiccups, the little challenges that you face in the course of traveling, but it all worked out, and here I am. So that is going to do it for this video. Next one will be a tour of Girona here. See ya. Hasta luego.